Hello and welcome to Per Coffee Cast, episode 13. I'm your host, Andrew, here with co-owners of Perk, Alan and Philip, and also a special guest today, Demilson Jr. Welcome, Demilson.
Thank you. What a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on. So you told us actually just recently before we started recording that you heard our first episode on Brazil Legender, and you have so much more information to share with the world, and that it needs to get out there, and that is kind of what we wanted. That's the purpose of this podcast. So we're excited to share as much as we can about kind of the importing side and specifically what's going on at your level. So
I'm very
welcome,
excited too.
and can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself? Who is Demilson, and who do you identify? As deep as you want to
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. I'm trying to be smart on this answer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Demilson Jr. I am Brazilian, born and raised in Brazil. Had the opportunity to live for a while in North America and had a taste, learned a little bit about your culture, which I admire a lot. And decided to come back to Brazil about 12 years ago. And I was simply in love with coffee. And my wife is from this region. And I found that a lot of people were struggling on how to get connected because it's not easy. One thing is you know the product, you know how to negotiate, but it's tough to get connected, right? To deliver the right thing, you think it's right, but to whom you don't know. So that's why I decided to join this coffee world. I was in a different industry and I felt so excited because there's so many flavors, so many different cultures, expectations, and people simply love it, right? Coffee is not a beverage. Coffee is like a lifestyle. You sometimes invite someone for a coffee, even if you're drinking OJ, but you say, hey, let's have 5 minutes to have a coffee. So coffee is our life. No matter if you're poor, if you're rich, if you're in a high-end office or in a poor house, everyone drinks coffee pretty much. And I say, well, I need to be in this. And I started Legendary 12 years ago on my own and decided to travel around to see if people would be interested in drinking the coffee we produce in our region. And that's how everything started.
Man, yeah, that is like the connection to as many people as you can. I think is really cool that you saw it as a mission in life. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth now, but to connect with as many people as you could and share the best version that you could find, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's right. I was just trying not to kind of keep on talking for very long, not to be boring, and missing. So, and again, this is my first podcast, so you guys know better, and I'm
No,
following you. Please feel free to guide me
this
here.
is our 13th podcast, so
Awesome.
we don't have that
Yeah,
much more expertise.
you're masters. I'm the rookie in the room. So basically, you need to find the right people for
Yep.
everything you do as well, right? So when I started, and I have to mention this, and I think it's important because Royal Coffee New York, those guys, they opened the doors for me. Like literally, they've said, Demilson, this is American coffee business. And if you have the right coffee, we are welcoming you to join this and we will introduce your coffee to as much people we can. And that's how we reach Perk as well. So I'm super glad that True Royal, now our coffee is there for you in Savannah, in Atlanta. And I mean, we do need to thank the friends and the partners that are always contributors to this journey. I wouldn't be able to do this on my own if Roya did not extend their arms to us. And of course, a lot of trust, right? Because the quality that's right for me may not be right for you. And so we both tried. And the result was superb, was great. So I'm happy to hear every day that people are enjoying more and more Legendary. The reason that I'm here today, as I told you earlier, it's because I've watched your episode on Legendary, and of course, my company's name was there, so I had to watch, and I was gladly surprised with that. But I also noticed that there was so many questions without an answer, right? What does legendary mean? What is the story behind? Is this coffee single? Is this coffee a blend? What is the difference? Where does it come from? So I immediately contact you to say, hey, I'm here and I would love to provide more answers for you to get more educated about our coffees, because otherwise it would be impossible for you to explain to your customers when they come in and say, hey, what about this coffee? So if you have more to tell, they would appreciate even more the coffee. So I'm glad to be here for us to talk all this today.
Totally. Let's start with that. Why
Yeah.
is it called Legendary? And then
Awesome.
what is Legendary? I mean, is it a farm? Is it a collective? What is it? Can you tell us a little about the structure?
Absolutely, yes. When I was in Canada, my wife was in a project called. My wife used to work for Starbucks, and they've launched the Legendary service. That means go beyond your customer's expectation. And I immediately got connected to that word legendary service. I love that. And I love the concept, the idea behind go beyond your customer's expectation, do something extra. Don't be just ordinary on your comfort zone. And I like that and I embrace that. But for Brazilians to pronounce legendary, it's kind of hard. Legendary, legendary. And for Italians as well, for Japanese. And I said, it's not going to work. I have to find something that's going to make this thing easier. So legendary. So legendary, it's has all these concepts, but in a way that Brazilians can pronounce. So it's a name that I adapted for people to be able to pronounce, to speak, to talk about our name. But at the end, it means go beyond your customer's expectation. This is our goal. This is our philosophy. We try always to provide the best service possible that goes along with a great product, a great coffee.
Man, we've only heard two general concepts from you so far, but I feel like it's such a perfect fit on what we've tried to build as a brand at Perk, that people, coffee, coffee, people, and that's what drove you to the industry. And then the legendary service is part of our retail side. I mean, we don't use the word legendary, but that's just crazy to hear. That how awesome that connection is.
Yeah, we have an affinity for the word awesome, but we intentionally overuse the word awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
Exactly.
I can possibly think about making some Brazilian way to say awesome here as well in the future and create a new brand.
That sounds great.
That's fun.
Yeah. So another question you've asked, what is Legendary? So basically, Legendary is an exporting company, small scale family business. So just for you to have an idea, our operation here, it's run by myself, my wife. She takes care of logistics, poor lady. So she handles the toughest part on this game. So I cup the coffees, select the beans. Of course, we have a great partnership with a local co-op called Copama, which allow us to reach all the producers that could deliver the best coffee to us. So this is like community work, because the producers come to town, bring in their samples. We taste the coffee. We like the coffee. We purchase. We prepare the beans. I don't know if you're aware of that, but the coffee we purchase is not sorted. What you receive, that before you receive, it goes under a preparation. That means we separate the bean size. We also remove the defects, because in Brazil, it's not like we already pick only the ripe cherries. The picking here is a larger scale, so you also pick some defects. But then we have technology to remove those defects. determined by the final customers. So they use the whatever they would like. So it's type 2, type 3, type 4. It's your call. So the lower the number, less defects it has. So usually your coffee is type 2, type 2, 3. That's what you receive. So we prepare this coffee, make sure the coffee is ready for you to roast. But when we receive the coffee here, we receive all kinds of sizes and some defects. So we taste that coffee. We have the direct relationship with the producer, the same way as we have the direct relationship with the importer. I think in this business, it has a misconception of direct trade. Direct trade is beautiful. It's a beautiful word. Some people try to promote that, but without the exporter and the importer, most of the farmers would never be allowed to reach this market, because for all the complication involved, all the bureaucracy, the paperwork, and ocean freight and all that stuff. So we are direct trade because we purchase from the producer directly. We sell to an importer in US that can allow you to go and purchase your coffee from Brazil without needing to come here, purchase a lot of coffee without a place to accommodate all this and the hassle of taking care of all this situation on your end. So basically, this is the direct trade. In my opinion, this is the perfect translation. Producer, legendaire, royal, perk. It can't get any better than this. Other than that, you're trying to get some, trouble in your life or facing some difficulties, which I don't recommend.
So Brazil is a big place.
That's right.
If somebody wanted to look up where the coffee that you sell as Legendary is coming from, where on a map would you tell them to look? And then how far away from where you're sitting do you draw from producers?
Great question. Yes, Brazil is huge. And we are located in Minas Gerais. Minas Gerais is pretty much the same size of Texas, Georgia, I believe. So it's a pretty big state. So we have coffee produced in north of Minas Gerais, which is Cerrado region. We have coffee produced in the Mugiana region, which is west. And then there's the south of Minas Gerais region where I am located right now. We're the south of the state of Minas Gerais, southeast of Brazil. We're near São Paulo, the capital. And if I take my car right now, it's going to take me literally 10 minutes to reach a coffee farm. It's all surrounded by coffee farms around here. Machado, it's a town, was built on coffee, and everyone has either someone or involved in coffee production here. So it's very convenient to go around to meet the producers, and they also come to town for their daily routines. And that's when they bring their samples for us to taste. So this relationship is pretty much like on a daily basis. Very easy, very convenient, and not far at all. So if you look at a map, you see Minas Gerais, and then if you go south, you find Machado, Poços de Caldas, this area. This is exactly where we're located. We export coffee from Machado, Poço Fundo, and Campestre, 3 municipalities. It's pretty much like Savannah. Tell me about any other like neighborhood or city around there. So it's kind of the same concept, just to make it easier for you to understand.
Yeah.
Right? What is the nearest town near Savannah? Just for curiosity.
Maybe Garden City, Pooler.
There you go.
Richmond Hill.
Yes,
World
that's
famous
it.
cities.
Yes. So if you would be an exporter, you be. So now you understand our concept here, right?
Like 10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes. That's correct. Yes, exactly the same. Machado from Poço Fundo, it's only 15 minutes. And why I have decided to be here and not in a bigger city of Brazil? Because when I decided to start this business, I had no idea how big it was. I got so surprised. multinationals are in charge and in control. So for me to participate, I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision. I said, or I go small scale, or I'm out of this business because I have no pocket, no knowledge to compete with the multinationals. And then I said, well, what does the specialty coffee industry is looking for? For small scale, quality first, origin, uh, traceability, sustainability, all these things. And I say, okay, the sitios, they have all this, and that's where I'm going to focus. So just to explain, sítio in Portuguese means a small farm. A fazenda is a big farm in Brazil that produces 5,000 bags, 10,000 bags. A sítio produces 200 bags, 100. And that's where I started to learn, okay, the quality can be there because these guys, they have to take care of this like a diamond, because you cannot compromise on quality if you produce so little, right? If you screwed your production producing 100 bags, you're done for the year because you're going to divide that by 12. And if you lose money, you lost your production, right? So they, by the situation they're involved, need to take care more, rotate more the cherries on the patio, make sure the moisture is right, the right time to pick the coffee. All this, it's all related to pricing, because you can be a small farmer, but you cannot think like a big farmer, because you need to sell higher quality in order to add value to your product. And I saw this is exactly what I would like to be involved with the sitiantes, sitio owners, with the people that could allow me to diversify, not take too much risk and buy one big chunk, huge chunk, and not be approved by my final buyers. So a sitiante brings 20 bags, 30 bags. It makes it easier for me to decide. And also, I've noticed that this is exactly how you like to purchase your coffee, right? Because if I offer you a fazenda coffee in a large scale, you're going to taste it and say, no, thanks, because it tastes like a Brazilian coffee. You want something else, right? And that's the sitio coffee.
That's a perfect transition. So the the impetus behind today's conversation, ultimately came from, well, we taste. I mean, we've now roasted, I think, north of 500,000 pounds of Legender.
Wow.
So we have roasted and tasted and served a lot of coffee from Legender, and are very, very familiar with how it reacts and how it tastes and what it does, in different conditions. And we had a recent palette of it that we received that tasted just a little different from what the previous palettes had tasted like.
Well, it was
and
a crop switchover, right?
Right.
That's correct.
Right.
And it started a little bit of internal conversation about the differences, and why it might taste different, and whether it was just the crop changeover, whether it was coming from a different farm or a different part of a farm, or if it was just this palette. So but zooming back out, people ask us, what is single origin? Why do you care? Do we care? And I think your explanation about the different levels in Brazil goes towards answering that. If we were to just offer a coffee and call it breakfast blend or whatever nonsense that you see out there, it gives you no information about where that coffee's from or why it tastes the way it does. If we then were to go down a level and say that this is a coffee from Brazil, or even a natural processed coffee from Brazil is huge, and that is a really varied number of things that could be and taste like. Or we frequently see coffees that are Brazil Mogiana, which again is still a huge, massive thing, and it could taste all kinds of different ways. Where now we've zoomed all the way into, these are coffees from Machado, and from one palette to the other, this may have just come from, again, one producer within Legender versus a different one, and there's a little bit of difference in flavor, but that's part of the story's understanding, because you can look at a map and look at Machado, and I mean, shoot, you can go back to 6 months ago and say, what was the weather then? And how did that impact what I'm tasting in my cup today? That's what's so interesting. And that, in my mind, is, I mean, why we are willing to pay more for coffee from Legender versus something called Brazil Mogiana that is kind of nondescript. And it's what makes all of this really, really interesting. And I guess the question is, in my mind, once we get down to, we know this coffee is Legender, is it single origin, or do we, is it single origin once you get down to the single producer? And do we care what the difference is? At what level should we and our customers care about the most specific traceability of that coffee versus...
I see what you're saying. Like you're saying like a specific, is it Sitio? So if you were to offer that as opposed to it, ultimately, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but for me, as someone who tastes the coffee as they come in, like I want to make, like, first and foremost, the coffee, I want it to taste great, right? Because we want to be able to pass that along to the customers. But and then also, what you were saying before, as far as all the importer and exporter and all those things, those are, to me, those are critical factors. They're expertise that I don't have and I don't want to have. But I think, though, the great thing is that if an importer and exporter are folks that we want to work with, they're willing to put us in touch with you, and you're willing to put us in touch with anybody who we may be willing to. Those are the relationships I care more about, that we can actually do what we're doing now and have a conversation, and no one's afraid to connect those dots, because we just, like, I think as the producer and as the roaster, we have a special relationship in that you're making these great coffees and we're sourcing them. We have things that we'd like to hit as far as what flavors we want to offer our customers, and y'all and the producers, I think, want to make great coffees, and obviously they want to make certain that we're going to buy them, right? And then everyone else just makes sure that all that, it just happens smoothly, all the other stuff. So, but absolutely. Yeah, I think I guess back to the question, though. Sorry, I hadn't had anything to say the whole time.
What was the question?
I had to get something. The difference between,
I told you, it's low key.
Yeah, the difference between the single origin and a single Sitio supplier versus what we're roasting now, and how much does that matter, and how close is that to accurate?
Yeah, single, it's also something that I'm kind of, very cautious with. First of all, as a natural product, natural process, it will vary. Mm-hmm. Period. Less rain, more rain, less heat, more heat. It's just like wine. Same thing. Why one crop it will taste different from the next year's crop? Because it's controlled by nature, right? What we try to do is we try to keep as more consistent as possible. What we're looking for? We're looking for fruity, not too pronounced in acidity, not too funky, not too crazy. A very standard fruity, chocolatey, and sweet cup of coffee. This is what we look for when we're purchasing Legender Especial, the coffee you receive there. Okay, so one C2 that produces about 100 bags cannot guarantee consistency. And we don't want to put them on spot. All right, we've tried once in the beginning, but we learned the lesson. Because if you insist on saying, okay, Mr. Smith, you're going to deliver to me the same flavor next year, that is a lie. That is an illusion. You're not in the right business. Okay? Yeah. I've tasted a little bit vanilla this year, last a cherry on this and that. This is the business I'm in. Okay? We're not selling ceramic types, right? Yeah. We are dealing with something natural, as long as it's within the line we're looking for. Okay? The consistency you're saying, it's like something that can be predictable. It has to be sweet. It has to be chocolatey. It has to have like either vanilla, toffee, or fruit or something. It has to be these elements there. Otherwise, it's not Legender Especial. So the sitios in our region, they do produce something that could be called outstanding. Pineapple, winey, strawberry, tons of this and that. But it's going to be what? 50 bags, 40 bags that we put it aside. We do know and that we need to do that. We put it aside and sell as single. But again, we do not expect next year to be the same. If it's the same, great. If not, no problem. But if it has less strawberry, not too funky, not too crazy, but it's consistent, sweet, and nice, that can be a legendary special. So then we found a solution for the volume of sitios we have around because we used to look for diamonds, but there was a lot of gold and we were not participating in the gold mining. And then we said, you know what? We are wrong. We're looking for diamonds, but diamonds are limited. Why don't we embrace in this code and provide this answer to the CTOs and say, hey, listen, do not bring us and do not get frustrated if you don't have the best of superb coffee. If you have a great cup of coffee, we are going to look for someone in America, in Europe, that will appreciate your coffee, your effort, because it did rain much more than you were expecting, but it's not your fault. Your coffee is still great. It's just not 89, 88, as if somebody cares about that. The number, right? I care about what's in the cup and not a number that somebody's going to tell me. What if I don't like it? An Ethiopia coffee, it's not my fault. It's just my taste, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it's great for a lot of people, but may not be the right one for me. And there's nothing wrong with that. So we came up with the idea of, okay, let's put more sitios together and see if they can deliver to us a more consistent profile without going too high nor too low. And that's how Legendary Special came, right? And we had a conversation with the partners in America and Europe and say, okay, let's develop this brand for those interested in buying a great cup of coffee, but nothing too exotic, nothing like super fancy and with a reasonable price as well, right? And producers were super happy because we add a premium without that expectation on their shoulders. Like if you do not produce the best of the best, we're not purchasing your coffee.
Remove some of the stress. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the word, the stress. So, and then they start investing more in Legendary Special and more of the single lots came, but still limited. So basically, to answer your question, what is the difference between single origin and Legendary Special? Legendary Special comes from all the producers that will eventually produce a single origin coffee. But if it doesn't happen, we do not rely on one farmer alone to supply and to provide this cup of coffee to you. So we rely rather on a group of CTOs, a group of communities, a group of families that they will put the coffee together and we cup each and every one and put together for you as well.
And that for us hits a really important thing that, so we're, the size of company that we are, the amount of coffee that we roast, to your point of a producer, Brazil Legend or Especial, like that is our mainstay coffee. We use more of that than anything else. A producer that only makes 100 bags in a year, we would have to go out and find a bunch of producers to have enough coffee to do that, whereas instead we can come to you through Royal, which, and I guess we haven't said this on our end, but we are super grateful for our relationship with and through Royal to be able to have this conversation with you and to be able to source Legender. But we're able to source all of the coffee that we need and know that it's going to be kind of within a band of flavor and quality that we expect. But at least on our end, we don't want every cup to taste exactly the same. Like that's not, the pinpoint consistency isn't the thing that we're after. Coffee is this whole incredible experience because every cup is a little bit different and it's fun to figure out, well, why does this one taste a little bit different than the previous one did? Yeah,
That's
so
what drove the conversation today. to happen.
Totally.
Right.
Right.
But
So,
at the same time, what's cool too is our values are exactly in line, right? Because though those flavors might shift, our customers trust that the same way that we trust you, that we cup these coffees and they don't go out unless they meet a certain standard. You know, this Legender is terrific and hits exactly what we're hoping for with it. And even though last crop's Legender we got a little bit more nuttiness along with the milk chocolate and a touch of fruit, and this time I think that nuttiness almost turned into like a warm honey type of flavor with some of that chocolate, which is great too. It's just a little different. It's a little lighter and it's a little smoother, but what we made an adjustment to the profile too. So what we did was we left our temperature exactly the same, but we stretched our profile out about a minute. And that really kind of added a little bit of body. We noticed that this crop could use that a little bit of time just to add a little bit of body to the cup. And then, it tastes like, melted chocolate in an espresso shot. It's
pure
so good.
chocolate.
Yeah. And it's just so interesting. So for us, it was also great, and to Alan and your point, you can say wine tastes different from year after year, but if you go get some bananas, I mean, and then like apples, anything, any
You're
of the
absolutely
things,
right. Yeah.
produce, anything that you eat is not consistent. One's going to taste a little bit different. One's going to be a little bit better, but we hope that like you said, that you're never going to get worse than a really good cup of coffee. There might be some nuance that's different in the flavor, but it's always going to be really good. And so that's why I think you're a perfect pick, or perfect fit for as far as a producer for us. And then also we also have a home to offer those smaller lots in our lineup as well. And we have a home for the pineapple coffees and the chocolate coffees. And then there's drinkers that drink one or the other, and then there's drinkers like us who I drink a pineapple coffee, and the next coffee I don't want to taste like pineapple. I want it to taste like milk chocolate, and then I want the next one to taste like something else. So I enjoy the variety, but yeah, we're over the moon. I think that first bit of establishing values that connect is really the key, and then from there building this relationship. So I think what's interesting now is I'm really curious about some of those small sitio lots that we could bring in and offer the customers the chance to try something extremely different from Brazil and from Legender. That would be really fun.
Yeah, as soon as you said pineapple, that piques my interest. We had one that had notes of pineapple, and that's been like.
I hope you guys can reach out to Camilo and bug him for like a C2 or something for you to try. It's worth a try. And this one you can always manage to use one C2 this year, maybe another one next year. It could be your, like limited edition or something for people to try different profiles from our region as well. It's a great experience, and it's not going to take you far away from your main idea. It's only going to add something extra, some news story, something to talk about, because it's all about relationship, right? I have right behind me here this picture. So this is explain exactly what like the sitiantes in our region. I don't know if they reflect. Is it okay to see?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So this is like our pictures. We take this and from a sitio. So basically, these guys, they don't know if that's going to become a single or a legendary special. We know that it's going to be good. So our job here doing the harvest, I hope one day you can make it. All of you are invited. Basically, we cup like tons of coffee every day, separating the singles, the legendary special, and whatever is below that is a no-go. But when it comes to CTO, the rate of approval is pretty high, because we know that this means a lot to them. And when you start saying about the difference from these to the last one, I got a little bit worried. But then when I hear milk chocolate, honey, and I said, wow, come on.
Yeah.
Fine. we're not talking about like you said. We're just shifting
Raspberry,
from
yeah.
one good thing to another great stuff.
That's right.
So
That's right.
it's a big relief to me. Okay, thank you for explaining that.
Absolutely.
You're
Yeah.
worried it was going to be like stale milk and mushrooms or something.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
I mean,
And
that's
you've mentioned something really important, Philip. Also, you have the power to change the profile a lot.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't matter how the coffee arrives in your place. The guy behind the roaster, he also can do a lot of magic, right? And put
Right.
everything, to be great or to be ordinary or to be a disaster, right? So you,
Right.
you guys have that less magic, like the less touch. It's on you. A lot
That's
of
right.
responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
and that
and even beyond us, actually. So even our customers, if they buy a bag of coffee, and this is something that I always talk about as being one thing as far as when I was really getting into coffee, you know, wine is great, and it has all these complex flavors as does chocolate, and you can really kind of nerd out about how wonderful they are and the nuance of flavor. But the big thing about coffee, I think, that is interesting is that even the end user is an active participant. They have to choose how to grind it. They have to choose how to store it. They have to use water that's heated enough to making a good extraction. So it's a little bit of even pressure on those folks, and so you can produce a great coffee, and we can roast a great coffee, and everyone in between can handle their business of getting it to the customer, and it can still be brewed with water that's 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and it just doesn't taste good. So I think those, but that relationship, that sort of balancing act, also is really exciting. It's something that, like, as a former musician or an artist, it's something that you put out into the world and you want to share, and it makes the stakes a little bit higher, and it makes the day to day everything we do really exciting, because there's a lot on the line and a lot of people are connected to it. So it's really, really neat.
That's a perfect explanation. Yeah, like an instrument. You can deliver a guitar to someone, but each and every one we play differently, right? We
That's
change
right.
the tune and stuff, but the most important thing is the instrument needs to be right, good
That's right.
quality, and no matter the changes you make, that consistency is going to be there, and it's not going to be like a major change.
That's right.
So yeah, we were all involved in this process, and it's good to know that each one of us has a responsibility somehow to get this. Because coffee lovers, when they love a cup of coffee, that's it. You probably have customers that go back to your shop every day for that cup of coffee, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
I have a couple questions, actually. So
Sure.
in the times that I'll put them together into one question, but in the time since you've started, what information, because it sounds like you had a couple of ideas, you knew you wanted to get into coffee, you had an idea going in, and that sort of shifted, and you found a comfortable place. How did that idea, once you brought that sort of to market, to Royal, and then to people like us, how did that shift, and how did information flow backwards to the folks at the sitio? And then secondly, when as the industry has changed, and you've seen other people in the industry in similar positions to you, maybe in other countries or even in Brazil, that are doing things, is there anything that you've learned along the way that you pass along to either the toward our area of the stream, or back down to the sort of sitios, and trying to help figure out, this is how you get to what we know they want, or how's that work?
Awesome. That's a good one and a tough one at the same time.
Yeah, we agreed
Basically-
no tough questions.
Oh, sorry.
Philip.
Yeah, that's it. So
It's my own. That won't ask any more questions.
that's okay. You're allowed. Don't worry. At the end of the day, yeah, you've said a lot of good things about my coffee, so I'm not going to screw you on this. Don't you worry. I'll be nice. I'll try to be nice. And I may not have the proper words to explain this with the efficiency you have, but I'll try my best. In the beginning, honestly, I tried this very stupid thing of educating producers. What a mistake. what snobbish, like trying to educate someone that's been doing this for 40 years. Who are you, Demilson? Right? To come here and tell me how to rotate my cherries. And I was like so blind on that. But then immediately I've learned. I say, hey, let's respect the boundaries, the limits. All right. What I want is you to deliver me whatever you have, the best you have, and let the guys in America make the decision. So I decided to simplify. And with the help of a lot of people, including baristas, so I invited them to come here and cup with me and to calibrate. And I found the best regions, the best CTOs, and that's where I concentrated my energy and decided not to go there and tell them what to do, but please deliver the beans you have and let the people make their decision out there. So my first experience was picking a sitio that I personally liked a lot, the coffee. Some friends did as well. But what about you guys? What about the guys at Roy? What about the guys in another place? Would you like this coffee? I didn't know. So I took the beans and I've cupped together with a couple of partners that are still with me, including Roy. And I've sent them the samples and they love it. They said, "Oh, this is exactly what we're looking for." I said, "Now I know where I need to go and work with the CTOs." So this is how we started. Very easy way. You don't have to be like a super pro or intelligent to understand that at the end of the day, the guidance is going to be those enjoying the coffee, right? So I've learned, okay, this is a great region. This is also a good region. Don't touch that one because you're going to waste your time. Don't try to take the producers away from what they love to do and they've been doing for decades, and make it simple. And the producers started to wait for me. Like, can we deliver this quality? Would you have an importer? Would you have a buyer? Is it really going to be a premium for that? Because we're tired of putting extra effort for people that come in here with projects, blah, 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 and nothing happens. And they put me on the spotlight. A lot of pressure. I say, oh my God. I now came here and I told them that, quality is the key. And what if I don't find? But again, when you jump to the ocean, you got to swim. There's no other way, right? So I had to put a backpack and go and knock doors and talk to people. And thanks to the producers, they had the quality. It was just a matter of time and get in touch with the right people. So what has changed since then? Volume. Because as soon as we found, for example, our great partners, Royal, so the volume start growing because more people like you started to buy and to trust. Take one bag, take two. Hey, it's good. I'll take 10 now. And then comes to 20. So my answers to the producers here started to make sense. My idea, my project, my quality project started to make sense. And they also trusted me. And I say, okay, you know what? It's worth it. Let's put extra effort because the premium is good and he is serious about it. He's going to take our coffee. And that's been 12 years, nonstop, volume increasing. But one thing that we take extra care, we don't want people to join our quality program just for an extra buck.
Right.
There's no point. It has to be something like legitimate. Something that people believe in and they want to be part of it in the long term. Because right now, more and more producers come to our door bringing samples. But we have those that are with us since we've started. So they have the priority, right? And we want the families and the group to understand that we have perk that is expecting the quality that the first guys delivered. So everybody needs to think like the first ones, because other than that, we're going to lose that, consistency, traceability. In a container of Legendary Special, we can name the names. We can name all the CTOs. If it's 3 or 4 or 5, they're there with us, part of this program. The industry changed, shift. as you've mentioned, from other origins. Everybody's starting to try to participate in this specialty business. All of a sudden, everything became specialty right now, which I think you can try to fool people around. You can try this and that, but at the end, cup never lies. Never. So it doesn't matter if you have a great story, if you have a great marketing strategy, the cup never lies. And that's what makes people to go back to your shop. So a lot of people will come, a lot of people will go. Some will stay longer, some will stay just for a couple of years. I don't see as a threat. I try never to stay in a comfort zone. Always also communicating with our producers. Listen, this is expectation. This is reality. Let's try to be, as close as possible to reality and understand that if you don't supply, somebody else will do it, right? If you don't take it serious, somebody else is trying to take it serious, and they will. So competition is for everybody. Competition is the shark in our tanks that keep us rotating, right, and making our blood to circulate and to think about new ideas, get connected, talk, and learning a lot. I learn a lot from you, and you're my guidance. Well, yes, because you're telling me what is the most important thing for you, and I can translate that to the producers here. Without your guidance, we're all going to be blind. If you never tell me, you know what, Demilson, this variation here, how cool is this? And we had to adapt, the temp on the roaster and all that stuff. This is a great conversation for me to have with the producers about the moisture, about the time they're picking, about the time they're selling, because we push nobody to sell a coffee. They sell whenever they're ready for, and that can be too late. And I have to say, I'm sorry, but now it's too late. I cannot purchase a specialty coffee right now. We don't do it because it's too late. The next, we start again mid-July.
Okay.
For you to have an idea. So, and then some CTOs, they say, okay, but now it's when I want to sell. Okay, I'm sorry, but the window is closed.
Right.
Because we need to respect some quality lines there that cannot be broken. Like a coffee that is being delivered to us now, it's not going to taste as fresh compared to the one delivered to us in August. Right.
But I imagine too that as you've been in business long, and they understand what to expect as far as the consistency of what you're exporting, that can help them drive their practices too, right? So they know what to expect if you're consistent. So I think that's something that is also probably pretty great for them to understand. They are coffees that we know that Demilson's going to buy, that Perk's going to buy. This is when they do it, so they can make those they can make those decisions based off of that.
You're absolutely right. Yes, I mean, like, we don't receive any crazy coffee here because they already know, and also it's not like a huge variation from our microregion because we don't go too far, and that's the thing about Brazil. Why a Mogiana coffee may not taste consistent, because it's from everywhere, right? It can be from north of Minas, south of Minas, west of Minas, and then it's about volume, volume, volume. So there's no way to keep consistency. Versus Legendary, we work, the farthest we go, I don't know in miles, but in kilometers will be like 50 kilometers max. Will be half of that in miles, probably 20 miles, something like that.
Yeah, 30,
we
31,
don't
I think.
Further than that. We don't go further than that. That being said,
that's cool.
Quality will never be like crazy up and downs. Will be consistent, and we don't have legs or arms to go too far. And even if we had, we better approach a different region to offer and not try to make Mogiana to taste like our coffee. That's a mistake for us, small scale exporting company. So basically, what you receive every year and the consistency you're celebrating, it's because we always work with the same families in the same region. And it doesn't matter if it's single or Legendary Especial, will be from the same CTOs. That's why the consistency is there. There's no magic. It's very, very simple. But a lot of people got, tempted. Hey, maybe we should go 100 miles. We should go 150 miles. But there's tons of coffee around here for me to be greedy and think about, going to different places and add too much and then start not being capable to take care of special time like this. So this is also important for me. I would rather be in control than have the industry controlling Legendary, dictating what I have to do. I mean, like I am in control. I offer to you every year what you're expecting because we are in control. The producers we work with are in control, right? We've managed the logistics. This is in our hands. So I don't want to let this to get out of our control. And then Legendary Special will become just like a big company without those principles. And for us, such a small scale company, it's very good. I can't complain. Right?
That's awesome.
It's just a philosophy, an idea, and the path you try to follow. And if there's anything wrong, it's also, we can fast manage to reverse. It's not too complicated, not too crazy. And that's the life I have chosen. If it's right or wrong, this is just an option, right?
That's right. We have a couple of other coffees if it's not to offer. Well, and I think that's what's, we've found, over the years, we've seen some other roasters that have in the States that have offered some different coffees, and, being now 13 years deep, we've heard, you've heard the different trends of these kind of coffees or this kind of coffee is what we're focusing on. But I think for us, we like to focus on a broad spectrum of coffees that taste very different. And so what's great is that, like you said, if you have that one coffee that is pineapple and, balancing it out with something that's chocolatey and sweet, that's exactly those kind of pairings, and having something for everyone, or at least for most people, is something that we're really interested in. And on top of that, all of those coffees meeting our standards. So, when I started the company, it was pretty simple. I just said I wouldn't ever sell any coffee that I wouldn't take home to my house and drink.
Awesome.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like you said, keep it simple.
Yeah. Well, what about if I put Camilo on the spot right now? What do you think? I think I'm going to do it. So basically, because I am so honored to be on this podcast, invited. So my challenge will be to find a single lot. It's going to be your signature. It doesn't matter. I don't know the volume, but this harvest, this is my commitment.
Perfect.
Select. And I'm making this commitment on a podcast. What a...
You heard it here first. Also, you should, as soon as we get it and we roast it, we should do this again and we should talk about it.
Totally.
That's a great idea. So basically, this is what I'm going to do. Make a selection of couple for you to decide, and I'll make sure to tell Camilo, this is for my friends at Perk, and they will tell me, and your feedback will be much appreciated. And this is how we're all going to be allowed to talk again about this new experience. So we already have Legendary Special on that level, but then you're going to be able to try something else to share with your customers, to keep the magic on, to keep this like chemistry, right? Coffee is relationship. We're on a counter drinking coffee and say, oh my gosh, what a great experience I have on this cold morning, rainy day. And that takes you to that moment. And it's fantastic. I love it. So yes, I will focus on that and find your Perk signature single C2, at least for us to have another reason to spend minutes talking. Such a great conversation, for sure.
That's awesome.
Game on.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do that. Camilo, wait for me.
All right. So, does Alan or Philip, do you have any other questions before I drop the most challenging question that there's no way Demilson will know.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm interested in. Let's get to that.
But all right. So this is like a personality quiz question, and I'll tailor it a little bit because I don't think you've tried all of Perk coffees. I don't expect you to have. So I ask everybody that we've been interviewing at the end, if you were a Perk coffee, which would you be? So I don't think I can box you into a Perk or bag you into a Perk coffee. So what taste profile of coffee would you identify with? Like what flavor notes maybe?
To me?
Yeah, to you, Demilson.
Yeah. Well,
it's an extra hard question.
the coffee I love on my daily basis, it's always like chocolatey, fruity, sweet, and eventually, I'd like to try something with more acidity and like a citrusy, some kind of funky flavors. But again, it's gonna be one cup, nice, talk about it, enjoy that moment. But again, I always like to go back to my, the comforting coffee I always expect to have in the morning. And for that Legendary Special, will always be the coffee I drink at home, the coffee I drink in the office. I always like to try new things, of course, but the coffee I like to keep it here on the counter with me while I'm working or in the morning with friends, and the coffee that my relatives and my friends are always asking me to have for them to enjoy. I think Legendary Special is such a great profile. Brown sugar, sweet, with notes of fruits and honey, as you've mentioned. I mean, you can't get any better than that on a daily coffee.
I'm going to push back on you. So I do appreciate that that's your favorite coffee, but if you were a coffee.
Oh, yeah, your personality.
Your personality.
Oh, gosh, I got this so wrong again.
No, that's why I said you're not the first person to answer it that way.
Can you answer that?
Yeah, that is a difficult one.
I want Philip to answer that so I can understand how to, to get like kind of around of this in a smartest way.
Yeah. So
for me,
it's a tough one. I was asked the same question, and I'm not sure I had a great answer.
That's why I ask it, because I don't have to answer it then if I keep asking.
Oh, so you guys put me on the spot on purpose. Great. Thank you. Very kind of you.
Yeah. For me, I think I was told that I was that maybe I was a blend because I was a lot of different things, but but we don't really do blends at Perk so much. So I don't know, because you asked if I was a Perk coffee.
I can answer for myself because I've been thinking.
I think it's it might be better for other people to tell you.
Yeah,
what
that's true.
You all have spent enough time with me. I'm definitely not decaf.
No,
definitely not decaf.
No. I'm bold. Yeah, tons of caffeine. Tons. Double. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you simplify that question into a like either espresso or or whatever, I think that would be like easier for us to answer.
Yes.
I am a Italian espresso, 20 ml for sure. Take the Legendary Special, an espresso, and that's it. This is myself.
Yeah, we got.
All right, I'll take that.
I'll take that on the chest and ready to go.
I like
always. It. Yeah. And maybe someone could be a latte, right? A lot of people would be a latte and whatever. What about you, Evan? What drink would you be?
What drink would I be?
He's an espresso tonic. I'm kidding.
As long as I don't have to drink,
he doesn't like espresso. That's true. Actually, he doesn't love the drink, but he might actually be one.
Yeah,
that may not be far off.
A cold brew.
Maybe Philip. I think you might be the Good Times latte. Lots of flavor and
little
spice and zazz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
nice. What about you, Andrew?
Well, I like to think that I'm pretty bland on the surface, but I have a lot of flavor underneath. So like I don't know. I'm trying to be reserved.
Try to be reserved.
But
That's not
a
place to be reserved. No way, sir. This is a podcast. You got to open your heart.
Yeah. So that's what drink it. Well, that's why I was gonna pick the dark roast as our coffee, because I think it because
drip
it's
coffee then. So you'll be a drip coffee.
Probably a drip coffee, maybe with a little. I don't drink it with sugar, but maybe with a little bit of sugar in it to give some spice to, or not spice, but some a little extra flavor.
There you go. I think we now got the drinks would be distraction we would be identified with, right? That's cool. Awesome.
Now I need to let people know before the recording starts that they're going to be asked this, so they can think about it for an hour. Maybe that's more fair.
I like the surprise. It's like it looks more natural and it sounds way more natural. That's so good. And what you guys are doing is just great for the coffee industry and for the people that love coffee. This is the time that you take in your life, dedicating for this, and it helps everyone. Everyone. Producers will hear from me. You guys going to talk to your customers. I have lots to talk with people. And tomorrow is Carnival in Brazil, eh? It's the very first day. So yeah, it's going to be like a 5 celebration day. So I'll have lots of friends to talk about, coffee, podcasts and stuff. And this is very cool. Rich because it expands, a lot. It's not what we're just doing here, but the consequences after that, which is all positive in my opinion.
That's great. And same to you. I mean, we obviously love Legender, and then it's so nice to get to learn more and more about it. Only confirms everything that we love about the flavors that we taste. How wonderful it is to get to know you and to hear about how you got started and what you do every day. It's awesome. So, thank you so much for coming on. So cool.
Anytime. Count me in. And next episode of Legendary, I'll make sure that I know exactly the extraction I am, and I'll have more answers to other questions. Looking forward to seeing you guys in person, maybe visiting there, an opportunity to talk with your customers, exchange this information with you. We're always learning and sharing, and you're always welcome to come to Brazil and visit us.
That sounds great.
From September to October. This is when you get the chance to cup coffee. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right. And thanks to our listeners for joining in and listening in on the conversation. I guess goodbye.
Maybe
I really need to write an outro.
Maybe I'm an under-extracted shot of espresso.
Under-extracted.
Sour and unpleasant.
Well, you know what? The more we start... That's
Sour
a good one.
Unpleasant.
Are you in the mood for what? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Never going to get boring.
All right.
Sorry. Bye.
On
Bye,
that note,
world.
bye, buddy.
All right, guys. Ciao. Enjoy your weekend.